Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. And thank you so much for that great introduction. A round of applause for yourselves for being here. Thank you for showing up. Clap. So before we begin, I'd like to tell you why you should listen to me. I'll probably give you 3-4 reasons why you should pay attention to me. And if you think I'm qualified to talk about this topic, let me borrow Praise James. We'll do clock it. Are we good? If I'm not qualified to talk about this topic, then still clock it. So my name is Winifred Ekwunife. I'm a product designer with about half a decade of design experience. I am a chronic recovering individual contributor. I'll get into that in a second. I lead a design team, extra fun facts, of only women. And here is like a bunch of places I have worked at. I have worked at Stanbic, I have contributed to product at Number, a bunch of places. And one of the things I like to say is I'm deeply rooted in fintech and specifically in crypto. So I think I know a thing or two in my design career and journey for me to be able to speak on this topic. Do you all agree? Okay, thank you. So let's go. We're going to answer a very important question today. You being a product designer, is it enough skill for you to be a leader, right? And we're basically trying to challenge the notion that you just being a product designer would probably or probably not take you to the big table, the round table, like I like to call it, right? So today, we'll answer that question, and I'll be able to walk you through tips that will take you from point A to point B, basically from 0 to 100, so you can also be a strategic leader in your company. Are we good? We're going to define 2 terms. We're defining these 2 terms because in the course of our conversation, I will be abbreviating them because it's a mouthful. So let's define these terms together. We'll be defining a design leader and we'll be defining an individual contributor. Right, so first thing first, when you think of design leadership, you think about it as, I'm not a design leader because on my Slack bio, I'm just a product designer. You might think that, you have to have received a letter from your HR, from your line manager to say that you're a design leader. No, that's not what it is. I personally think that design leadership is about one person, which in this case, a product designer, identifying a problem, owning the problem, and ensuring that the person is solving that problem end to end. So this is where we get to define who a strategic design leader is. A strategic design leader is an influencer. You guys know influencers today. They'll say, hi guys, get ready with me while I take you through my day. They show you this product, they show you that product. In our case, as product designers, I'm hoping we're all product designers here. Okay, beautiful. In our case, we are influencers at C-level. And C-level in this case is the CEO, the CTO, basic major stakeholders in the organization. And what you're basically doing is owning problems, saying, pick me, I want to solve this problem. That's basically what you're doing as a design leader. Then, as an individual contributor, your goal, right, is you saying, I just want to design this screen and I want to move on. I'm not really bothered about how much we're saving. I'm not bothered about who is looking at me. I just want to get my stuff done. Guys, Trello boards, I need to move my tasks, ClickUp, all the tasks. That's basically what you're concerned about. You're not concerned about how much the company is making or saving. You're not concerned about how your product, how you're solving that problem for your core user, right? That is basically who an individual contributor is. And the abbreviation for an individual contributor is IC, because as you can tell, it's a mouthful. So we'll do IC, and then for a design leader, we'll do DL. Are we good? So DL for who? IC for who? Thank you very much. So when you say IC, your brain will just swap it to individual contributor. So I'm going to put names to faces and faces to name so that we can all relate to the scenario. What's your name? Umar. Hi, Umar. You're going to be hearing your name very often. Is that okay with you? I need a female. What's your name? Hi, Aisha. Are you fine? We hear your name. Okay. I am not going to do this. Don't take it personal, I promise. So Umar here stands for our IC. And what is Umar concerned about? Umar says, guys, I just want to design this screen and let's call it a day. I'm not bothered. Can I get my money, please? That's Umar. Aisha says, guys, let's hold on. Let's take a step back. Why are we building what we're building? Umar said, guys, what's this babe? Why is she stressing us? Why is she stressing us? That's how you're thinking. That's how their mindsets are. Umar is focused on screens, the amount of screens that he needs to do in a day, the amount of Trello boards he has moved from review to approved, the amount of great job his line manager has given him. Aisha is more concerned about, why are we solving this problem? Who are we solving it for? Who are the people that are going to use this product? What platform or what devices are in their hands? She's very concerned about what their day-to-day lives look like. So she knows whatever solution that is going to happen will tie and properly solve that problem. What Omar is also concerned about is number of screens. He's not bothered about how much the companies, as far as Omar is concerned, by the 25th of next month or this month, Omar is getting his salary. He doesn't care. But Aisha says, guys, we need to understand what we are solving. How much is this solution going to generate for the company? How can we save the organization so much money? What tech can we use, or what tech should we not be using that's costing the organization money at this point? Do we necessarily have to use this tech to solve that problem? Do we need to hire more people? So your thinking has shifted from designing pixels to what? Generally thinking about the organization as a whole. So you are the middleman between the organization and your customers. Are we cool? So we're going to play a very short game, and the game is put a finger down. How many of you are aware of the game? Okay. Oh, okay, I see hands. Okay. So I'm going to join you guys in the game, don't worry. Umar, are you ready? Aisha, are you ready? Okay. So 5 fingers in the air. Whatever I say that applies to you, you put your finger down. Are we good? Put your finger down if at any point in your design career, you were the only designer on the team. Okay. Put a finger down if at any point in your design career, you were not involved in the strategic decisions. What you will hear is at the end of the sprint, Umar, you're designing this. Aisha, you're designing this. Put a finger down if at any point in your design career, the conversation and the product that you design has been concluded. What they are doing is, hi Umar, please, we need 5 screens today. Okay, put a finger down if you are not involved in the testing process. It's just you dishing out screens at the end of every sprint. Your fingers are not going down, though. You guys are, wow, that's nice. You guys have started your career in a very good place that cared about your growth. So the goal of this game is to show, you can put your hands down, thank you very much. The goal of this game is to show that there's an issue fundamentally with how we think about our jobs as product designers, how we should basically move from payday is here, let me get my money, and moving to how we need to essentially solve this problem fundamentally for our core users. So I want us to use the next 15 minutes to write things down. So jot things down, bring out your notes and jot things down, because I'm giving you nuggets. You guys get the reference, right? Okay, so this is essentially the representation of Nigerian designers in Nigerian startups. You have been a UX writer, raise your hand. As a product designer, you've been a UX writer, okay? You've been a tester, QA tester, okay? As a product designer, you are still the one calling, Alpha, where is the design? Are you done? You are the PM. Thank you. As a product designer, you are the product owner. You are writing documentation. You are writing feedback. This is typically what happens in Nigerian startup. And guess what? It's our advantage, because I dare say that if we don't have these experiences, you just be a designer without the necessary things that you need to use in your next career or your next stage. So we're taking the next, like I said, next 15 minutes to talk just very briefly about the 5 tips. I call them takeaways because I want you to take them. This is something that you can use very practically starting today. So if you're on Slack, you can start right now. Are you ready? So the first thing is what? You are a leader regardless of your title. It doesn't matter what your what do you call that thing now? Your offer letter says. It doesn't matter what your Slack bio says. It doesn't matter what your Teams, which organization is using Teams here? I'm not shading you, but what's going on? So it doesn't matter what all of those things say. It is you as a product designer and you as a leader, regardless of whether the title says it or not. What's my take two? My take two is the heart of ownership is yours. Who's wearing hats here? I'd like to do a small, okay, please, just 2 seconds. Can you just stand up, please? Are you safe to take off your hat? Is it safe? Yes. It's safe. Okay, can you take it off a little bit for like 2 seconds? So, the leadership hat is what? Is yours. Please put it on. All of them. So everybody that has that, please wear your cap. You are an owner. Regardless of you being an intern, regardless of you being a junior designer, regardless of you being a middle, whatever name you've called yourself, you are fundamentally a leader. And like I said, you're not a leader because of your title, you're a leader because you are designing solutions that are fundamentally shaping people's lives. And if you're in fintech, you know that you have to design right. So the third thing we need to take away from this conversation is shyness. Like, it's not taking me, it's not taking Umar, it's not taking Aisha anywhere. But my work's supposed to speak for me. I'm so shy. People think I'm going to do too much. Sorry, do too much. Do too much. You made something at work. You did something at work. You did something very, very significant at work. Go to your general Slack channel. Talk about it. Nobody's going to talk about it for you. Not your line manager. Hopefully, get the best line manager in the world. But not your line manager, not your peer. You yourself have to do the work. You did the work. You burnt the late night candle. Why are you not talking about your work? Okay, use the AI. Gemini. Or which AI guy is using? Which AI guy is using to design? No, okay, you're not using AI to design. Okay, you guys are cool people though. I use AI once in a while for my copywriting, for ideas. You guys need to get on the train, oh. Am I in the wrong place? You use AI, no? ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud. Okay, hey, talk. So shyness is not going to take you anywhere. You have to be bold about your work. And this is the context of your office. If you're working in an office, you have to talk about your work. You have to tell people what you did. How did you solve that problem? How did you solve the problem? That's really what people want to hear. And basically, your stakeholders are very important. So you need to be able to communicate to your stakeholders that this is how you solved that problem. This is how you went about the problem. This is how you solved it. And these are the outcomes that you're possibly targeting. My fourth takeaway is you thinking that your work is going to speak for you. Please, have you ever seen any screen that talks? As per your UI, can it talk? Umar, can your UI talk? Aisha, can your UI talk? So who's going to talk about your work? It's just you. Unfortunately, the job is on you. Rather, fortunately, the job is yours. If you spend 4 hours on your screen, I don't know if everybody's using anti-glare glasses, but your eyes ache, your head aches, and you solved something very grand. You yap about it to your friends. Why don't you want to yap about it to your line manager? Shyness is not going to take you anywhere. You have to be bold about your work, and your work will not speak on your behalf. You, me, Winifred, I have to talk about my work. Umar, you have to talk about your work. Aisha, you have to talk about your work. If you're wondering why I'm using Umar and Aisha, they are in front, and they volunteer their tribute, so that's why I'm using them. My last takeaway is this. You need to build relationships. Oh, this is second to last. You need to build relationships. I'm going to give you an example of what happened at work recently. We're working on a business dashboard, and we have 5 core stakeholders. CEO is involved, the CTO is involved, 2 engineers are involved because back end and front end, we need to understand, we need to know that we want to be able to understand if the things that we're working on is buildable. Because we UI designers, we like to go wild, this is going to be flying. Engineers are looking like, who is flying that ship? It's not flying anywhere. So we needed to involve those core people. So we brought them to the room. And guess what? They are very busy. It's only your design that is putting money per se on the table. So you need to get things done. So we had a meeting, we talked about things extensively. Everybody was like happy. Oh my God, it's so cool. In my mind, I knew that nobody heard what we said. Do you know what I did? I singled out one very important person that is a core stakeholder, that his voice mattered most. Sent a DM. I said, hi, I would like to set a one-on-one with you. Practical, life. And I was like, oh, sure. Make them feel special. Like, if you don't tell me, yes, this project is not going to go forward, make them feel special that their buy-in is as important as sliced bread. Do you guys hate sliced bread? I like sliced bread, though, eh? Anyway, as important as, most important. And then he was like, oh, sure, let's set up the meeting. I talked for, I'm not kidding you, 3 hours straight, telling him why the team had decided to go in this direction for solving the problem for the business. And I felt like, oh, my efforts were wasted. Guess what? 3 years after, we were presenting the same thing to a larger audience. And somebody said, oh, I don't think this is going to work because blah, 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 blah. Do you know what happened? Can somebody guess what happened? Oh, you didn't hear? They said that he spoke on my behalf and said that the reason why they went in this direction was because da. Because I didn't burn my relationship. Let me show you the meme I added there. I didn't burn the bridge. It was still there. So I could fall back on the relationship I had built. So what is the key here? You need to identify your stakeholders. If your CEO is the stakeholders, you need to be friends. Hello, friends. Not haha friends, like friends. You need to be friends with them. 2, you need to be able to have very candid conversations with them so you understand where you are coming from. So they can speak up for you when it matters. They call it sponsors or they call it mentors, right? Basically, you just need somebody that's going to say, yes, I know what Umar is talking about. Umar has explained this to me and this works. And everybody kept quiet. They're like, okay, if this person can say yes tomorrow, let's try it. And that's how that conversation ended. We didn't have to go back to the drawing board to redesign that dashboard. So that's what relationship across board does for you. You can have a relationship with the head of engineering. That's also some very important stakeholder for you to know. Engineering, back-end engineers are very important as well. You need to have at least one person that's going to speak on behalf of you. Someone that will promote your ideas, someone that will make other engineers think that we can do that. You also need to have a front-end engineer that is your friend. Do you all agree on that? Yes. You have to have friends with those people. They are not the enemy. They are your friends. So get one person. You also need to get friends maybe on the content team or the marketing team, but your core focus is going to be head of engineering, back-end, front-end, operations. Operations is also very important, and of course your CEO and your CTO. So my last takeaway is you need to learn to speak their language. No, it's not Mandarin. No, it's not French. No, it's not Chinese. Oh, 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. No, it's also not Korean. You need to learn to speak languages of engineers. I was fortunate to hear Osisi speak, and he was talking about APIs. For the life of me, I didn't know what he was talking about. My friend was laughing about, like, I don't know what it is. But it's a learning curve for me. I probably need to go and sit down and understand what APIs are. Because when you go on meetings or go on calls, you hear engineers say, the API is not working. They call the API, did not answer. Call it again now. Abi, am I? Call it twice. Okay, maybe 3 times. It will probably answer. So things like that, we need to also be in the know. And how do you know that? You have to do your personal research. You have to understand how those things work. So they will not bobo you and tell you that it cannot fly. It can actually fly. The engineer is just what? I didn't say it, so you would have said it. So you guys need to learn how to speak their language. I need to learn how to speak their language because I'm also in that process of understanding how technical things work. I hope that as we're leaving DevFest today, we have come away from thinking that, oh, it's payday, I need to get my pay, I need to bounce, I need to move my Trello board from a review, my line manager has approved, to first of all taking a step back to say, who are we solving these problems for? Why are we doing this? Are we wasting our time? Should we actually invest these 2 weeks to design this product? Because frankly speaking, nobody's going to use this. Like, are you bold enough to say, this is shit? You need to be able to ask the hard questions. Someone says, let's build this. You say, why are we building it? Why should we go ahead to waste 2 weeks or spend 2 weeks building this product? With these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to shift your mindset from being just a designer that just push pixels, move Trello boards. Trello is a product management tool, by the way. ClickUp, Linear, all that jazz. And you are somebody who is very interested in the growth of the organization as much as your career growth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Tanzamida. I'll take questions if you have any. Thank you very much for that question. I think that I'm going to go a very unconventional way. I'll first of all find out what they like to eat. If it's a remote role, I'll probably find out what they like to eat, away the order form, and probably send them like a voucher. You have ease in, they like you. You bought them food, they like you. If it's a hybrid, you probably pick the day that, or maybe they're going to be in the office or something. Oh, let's go grab lunch. Light conversation. How are you doing? Oh, I saw you wore red. Is red your favorite color? So yesterday I was talking about this product, just sleeping conversation. And I think that we are very focused on agree with me, agree with me, agree with me. And we are not looking into why is this person saying no to me, or why is this person not in agreement with me, right? So the unconventional way would help you see how that person thinks generally, and then you can find a way to slip in the conversation. I don't like to do tussle on calls because it just feels like, this is Winifred and Space are always fighting. It's no fight. I need you to listen to me, but again, the person also has expertise, and the person also obviously like wants to tell you what they know. So when you guys are having your lunch break or your lunch, try to ask random questions. Or how many are you in your family? No, don't ask personal questions. But essentially just trying to find out how this person thinks, why this person has that type of opinion, and how you can sort of influence that person to think from your angle, right? And please don't make it about you. Also try to like listen to what the person has to say and find a middle ground. I believe that there's always a middle ground in things. So if we're coming from, oh, we cannot make this mobile responsive. Okay, can we make it at least iPad responsive? That's a bad example, but you get the gist. Middle ground is always the safest place. Okay, you can do this. Okay, let me adjust design to fit this way. Can you do this way? Or if I do it this way, is it going to work for you? Middle ground. And funny story is that person will probably be your advocate or your friend, because you guys have gotten to a point where you have like a mutual understanding. Okay, so recently in my organization, they brought in somebody that filled the role of a head of engineering. I've not worked with a head of engineering before, so one of the things I did is, when it was his birthday, I went to his DM to say, oh, hi, happy birthday to you. I hope you're having a good time at the organization, blah, blah, blah. I introduced myself. I said, my name is Winifred. I sort of, because at the time I was not very confident with my role, I sort of lead things here in design, and I think we would be working together from time to time. And he was like, oh yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I'll come to you when I need stuff. I had to prioritize that relationship because I knew he had buy-ins in all the products we were building recently. From time to time, I'll send him a link and say, oh, hi, we're having like a whole private demo. It's not private. We would like you to come and watch us present. He was like, oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I will be there. Next, I was like, oh, what do you think about this design? Do you think it works? Do you think, based from your experience, from your perspective, do you think this is going to work? He'll be like, oh, I think you guys can do this, you guys can do this. So something I tell my team is this: when other members of the team, non-designers, give you feedback, 2 things you need to do. Thank you very much for that feedback. That's so good. We would take it under advisement. Do you know what that means? It means that we're not going to do it because you just wanted to talk. But we will make them feel special. Like, the feedback is very valuable, and we would probably not be able to move on with life if they don't speak. Right, so the relationship is being built stage by stage. Started with a happy birthday, started with a special invite to come watch us demo, it built up to, what do you think about this? And funny story is, engineers love when you involve them from the start. They love it, so involve them from the start and see how they will say yes to every idea that you bring on board. Thank you very much for listening.